Hello and welcome to Songs of Conquest. This is a game that has just released onto Steam Early Access, and it is a strategy adventure RPG very reminiscent of Heroes of Might and Magic. And if you would like to check out the game, there is a link in the description. I've been playing a whole bunch of this, and so far I am super enjoying it. I really don't know what else to say apart from the fact that it is very polished already, and that's obviously kind of a big thing because obviously it's early access, so you wouldn't expect it to be super highly polished or anything like that, but it feels so good. Anyway, there's multiplayer, there's single player, and there's also campaign and skirmish in the single player mode. We're going to be starting a new campaign. You can play with actually two different campaigns, and then you can also have custom campaigns that are created by the community, which is actually amazing in itself. So what we're going to do is we're going to play the Song of Stoutheart. Cecilia Stoutheart, the young baroness of the barony of Stoutheart, must face enemies within and without to hold on to her power and protect her people. Stoutheart will stand. Alright. In the year 593 AA, young Cecilia Stoutheart rose to Baroness after the untimely death of her father. When ore shipments from Barkspur's rich mines go missing, and rumors of bandits are brought to the new ruler, Cecilia leads a small force to investigate the missing resources and restore lawfulness to the barony. And let's start the mission. Alright, so this game actually kind of surprised me in a very good way because I have been watching this for a while. I follow a whole bunch of, indie developers, generally developers, on Twitter, and this was one of the games that I was following, and I have always just thought to myself, wow, this looks really good. But obviously you never really know about a game until you get your hands on it yourself. And this completely just blew me out the water because initially you think, okay, it's a turn-based strategy RPG sort of thing, and you think, oh, okay, well there's a whole bunch of those, right? Well, the way that this does combat, specifically combat here, I am very pleased with. It's so satisfying. Anyway, let's continue onward. Alright, so our new objective is to travel to Flint Hills. Obviously, this is basically kind of being treated as a bit of a tutorial as well. And you can move along here like so, and you can, you can kind of, should we say, cancel or skip ahead the animation of her moving around if you want to. There are also these sources of power that you're going to be able to interact with along the way, and these will give you certain benefits like, for example, increased movement speed on the world map, and as well as defense or offensive bonuses in your next battle, whatever that might be. There's actually a gallows here as well, which gives me 250 experience. Bear in mind that your heroes can level up, and they can also equip things known as artifacts. That's basically like your equipment. So that's going to be very important as time goes on. Okay, so we've got to look around here. I'm going to make sure that I know exactly what's going on. So in other words, I'm going to have to investigate everything nearby. Aha, we have this. The dead commander wore Stoutheart colors and the distinctive sign of the Corvus Reserves. Stolen ore was one thing, but an uprising against Stoutheart troops was more serious. Alright, an old artifact is found on the body. It could prove useful in the time to come, or sold for gold. So technically, I can gain 900 gold right here, or I can equip this artifact, which is basically a dagger that provides me with some kind of bonus. And this is obviously, this is just an example of an artifact. This is not, the only kind of artifact you're going to find, obviously, but this is the first example. I'm going to take the dagger because that gives me +1 offense. Might be useful in the battles to come. I don't really know. I've been doing a little bit of battling in the early game, and I haven't really had too many difficulties. In my other playthrough, I did not take the dagger, and instead I took the money, and I haven't really been having any difficulties winning fights. But that could just be because I am an absolute mastermind when it comes to strategy. Obviously, I'm completely joking. You know me. Anyway, the Corvus Reserves. Some wounded soldiers appeared from the forest. and snapped to attention. This was Cecilia's Corvus reserves, and they had clearly seen combat recently.
Hail, Baroness. The Corvus reserves await your command.
Lieutenant, you've seen some combat. What is the situation and status of the mines?
Our scouts detected hostiles about, milady. The gold mine to the south has been seized by rebels. We also encountered an unexpectedly well-armed force at Flint Hills to the west. We took heavy casualties and were forced to retreat.
How well armed?
These aren't peasants with tools and knives. They have crossbows and swords, and bannerless knights ride with them.
This is no peasant uprising. Someone thinks me weak and seeks to take advantage of my father's death to steal more than a few shipments of ore. We must uphold the laws and show them the error of their ways. Gather the troops, we march for Flint Hills. Alright, so now we have the ability to recruit these troops, and obviously we're just going to click on mass move here, and then they basically get added to our army, and now we have 10 rangers and 10 footmen, and you can see here, if you mouse over them, you can see exactly what kind of stats they have, well, you can also see their essence down at the bottom there. Now, essence is going to be a very important thing for you to take note of, because essence is basically how heroes cast spells in combat. So, I guess they're going to explain that later on, but if they don't, then I'll explain it. But otherwise, there we go. Okay, so let's go and retake it, shall we? I mean, technically that's an optional objective. We don't technically need to go and retake the gold mine, but I actually want to, so that is exactly what we're going to do. So, let's go and interact with this old camp over here. We're going to get some rangers. I'm going to get an additional 6 rangers instead of the gold, in my opinion. I think that sounds much better. Getting more units, at least from my perspective, I feel is much better than getting money, because money, you can always get money, but units might be a little bit harder to come across. So anyway, let's just go to the next turn. And you can see here, this is the enemy's aggressive zone, shall we say, and it's basically where they are going to be attacking you. So let's move into that and say hello. Stand down. This mine belongs to the barony of Stoutheart. It belongs to me.
We will do no such thing. You would be wise to go back to your castle and prepare for a storm. There's one coming, I gather.
The only storm gathering here is me. Prepare yourselves. Alright, so here we go. This is basically your, shall we say, formation map. And you can see the high ground here. The high ground is very, very important. High ground will give offensive and defensive benefits to any units on the high ground. So for example, if I were to leave my rangers on the high ground here, they're going to gain a bonus to their attack. And if a melee unit gets within range of them, they'll gain a defensive bonus. Obviously, that's kind of easy to understand, right? You can also withdraw here if you want to. If you are the aggressor, by the way, so if you are the offensive force that is engaging an enemy, then you can withdraw with 0 penalty. So if you make a mistake and you go in and you find that the enemy is way too strong, you can just withdraw. But if the enemy attacks you, there is no way to do that. You cannot retreat from that particular fight. So you've got to just bear that in mind. Positioning is pretty important on the enemy's turn as well. Otherwise, you can do an auto-resolve, which is known as a quick battle here. Auto-resolve obviously will just take into account how strong your units are versus how strong the enemies are, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do the manual battle and get stuck in, because I actually find it super fun. As I mentioned earlier in the episode, I really, really like how the combat is dealt with in this game, and every single unit is basically forced to carry out a sort of initiative check, and that basically determines what priority they have in the turn order. So for example, my melee unit right here is obviously one of the highest initiatives, so does get to go first, but unfortunately he's not going to be able to make it all the way to the opponent, but we are nevertheless going to be moving over there anyway, and then ending the turn, I suppose. There we go. Alright, so we've taken a little bit of damage. As you can see down in the bottom left, there's also a combat log there. I think actually what I might want to do is I might want to turn that on. I might want to turn that on more. So let me actually just have a look here. Where would that be? That is not here. It must be... Wait a minute. Am I missing it? I think I might be... Ah, no. Battle log. There we go. There we go. Always show. Okay, so I'm going to basically put battle log on always show because, in my opinion, this is actually quite useful and very, in some cases, very important. But at the moment, obviously, I just wanted to show it to you. So you can see here that the militia attacked my rangers and 2 of them died. And then the militia attacked my footmen and 1 of them died from the second attack. So otherwise, what we can do now is you can see here, this is our deadly range. There are multiple different ranges that your archers are going to deal with, and deadly range is generally where they are the most powerful. So for example, you can see here, this is our deadly range, and if I shoot this guy, you can see how much damage that dealt. Yeah, they basically all died very, very quickly. And now, because we have taken some damage, and both of these units that I have in my army at the moment are Order Essence, I am now able to cast these spells. So, anytime your own units are damaged, you're going to gain Essence, and then that Essence can be used to cast certain spells. Now, depending on which type of unit you have in your army, that is going to determine what spells you have access to. Hopefully I explained that accurately enough, but otherwise, what we're going to do is we're going to cast protection on my melee unit, because I am probably going to take some damage here potentially, but yeah, let's just do some damage there, and we're going to murder these guys. Boom, and boom. There we go. It's just so satisfying. I don't know what it is, but it feels really... I don't know, it feels really tight and really, shall we say, dynamic and visceral and up close and personal. You know, that's what it kind of feels like to go into battle in this game. So that's exactly how it should be, right? I mean, you know, and it's really funny as well because obviously it's a turn-based strategy adventure RPG. Combat should not feel so visceral because you're so far away from the action, but it does, and in my opinion, that's a great thing. That is a really, really great thing. Anyway, yeah, we've cleared out the mine, and as you can see, my commander has reached level 2, and as a result, I'm now able to choose a skill. Technically, what I can do here is if I am a little bit indecisive, or if I want to think about it a little bit, then what I can do is I can literally just close this window right now and I don't have to deal with it until a little bit later, and then you can level up anytime you want. But I am actually going to be taking ranged troops, gaining increased offense. I think that sounds pretty fun. You can also upgrade the ability for them to command additional troops, so if you want a larger army, then you can of course do that, but I'm going to focus a little bit more on archery. I love the ranged troops in this game. I feel like they're super fun to use, so I'm going to do that. And we can now go over and claim the mine. And there we go. We have completed the optional objective, and we are now going to be receiving 500 gold every single round, which is, in my opinion, fantastic. And that also means that all of those times when I could have potentially taken gold, this is actually giving me more gold than I would have gotten anyway, you know what I mean? So me taking that dagger earlier, in my opinion, that was a much better investment than taking 800 gold or something like that, because every single turn I'm gaining 500, so you know what I mean. It's kind of much more beneficial to take an artifact than it would be to take, you know, gold in this case. Anyway, Cecilia was no ordinary commander. She was a wielder and could draw upon the essence of her troops to weave mighty spells. As she touched the old tribute to order, she felt its essence empower her. That power would be needed in the battles ahead. Okay, so I'm actually going to open up the wielder sheet. Okay, so this is basically your character sheet. You're going to be able to see the various troop modifiers you have, specializations, your stats that your particular commander has. Bear in mind that your hero is not personally going to be on the battlefield. Obviously, this could very well change dependent on what kind of wielder you have access to. I've only played with Cecilia so far, so I obviously wouldn't know, but there are different ones. So, for example, she's to do with buffing her troops and supporting her troops with what spells she has. There are other wielders that are to do with actually casting offensive spells, and there are other wielders that are more battle-focused. I'm not sure what they do, but hopefully we'll find out as time goes on. Anyway, there we go. And obviously you do have a number of pieces of equipment that you can indeed equip. So you got a helmet, a chest piece, offhand, hands, feet, and a number of trinkets. So that's obviously super nice in itself. And then you also have spells here, and these are the amounts of spells that you're going to be able to utilize. At the moment, what will happen is dependent on what kind of essence you have access to and what kind of essence is currently being generated. The quick bar along the side of the screen when you're actually in a battle will be automatically populated with spells that you can cast. But if you don't want that, and you want to customize your quick bar in whatever way you want, then you can just untick this little icon here, and then it's going to be possible to customize this however you want. I mean, technically I can customize it anytime, but yeah, that is going to be something that you want to do if you're a little bit more advanced than I am in this game. Alright, so let's continue to move on and explore the world, and we're going to be taking 12 militia. Thank you very much. You know my stance on taking gold over taking units, so I'm just generally going to be attempting to take as many units as I can get my hands on. More footmen, thank you very much, I'll definitely take those. And who else do we have? Aha, yes, very nice. So that is a chest piece that I have now just equipped, so that's super nice. And we also have a source of power here, a Shrine of Aurelia. Hundreds of years ago, the Empire of Aurelia spanned the whole world. Statues of the Empress can still be found across Arleon, and many folk speak dreamingly of the golden years of Aurelia. And there we go, and that has given us plus 10 initiative and plus 1 troop movement, and it lasts 1 battle. So whatever next battle we're going to get in, my forces are going to get some really, really nice bonuses from that. So I like that quite a bit. And there's another 1,500 gold from that chest right there. And I believe there might be something else that we can interact with. I think I've already interacted with this, haven't I? No, I haven't. Okay. Walking this old battlefield inspires caution. So yeah, you can see here that now I have gained another buff for 1 battle only, which gives me plus 20 defense, but minus 10 offense. So there's also that to consider. Otherwise, we are now here at the Rebel Roadblock, and you can see a small estimate about how much combat strength they actually have. And you can see here that they have a number between 25 and 100. And we're going to attack them. Why not? Erected barricades and a small force of armed peasants blocked the road west. You best be gone, young Stoutheart. Flint Hills are free lands now. Free? Free to be attacked by bandits and pillaged by other baronies? Who will protect the people? You? Why not? As you can see, we are quite well armed. I can see that, but I caution you to think carefully before your next actions. Put down your weapons, answer my questions, and I'll be merciful. Or stand unlawfully against me, and my sword will deliver justice. Now, who armed you? One of good intentions. I've seen Stoutheart mercy, when old Lord Hammond was decapitated by your father. Now turn back. It brings me no pleasure to turn my sword upon my subjects, but unlawful acts will not be tolerated. Stoutheart will stand. Alright, so here we go. Obviously, if I didn't mention this before, you can only place units on the blue tiles. So you can see here, I can't place them anywhere I want. I have to place them on the blue tiles. But generally, I would probably recommend placing ranged units on the highest levels, and then just, you know, managing with whatever place your infantry are. And personally, I have found that placing them on the sides of the battlefields are generally the way to go as well, because that is usually where the high ground is, and you want to try and make the most of the high ground as much as possible. So anyway, we now have, oh yes, we now have 3 ranged enemies to fight, and I will be, aha, I actually have some essence. Oh, very nice. Okay, I'm actually going to be taking this, and I'm going to be buffing my footmen so they can run a little bit further. And then we're going to be shooting these guys. I hope we're going to kill them, actually. Oh, nice damage. Oh, yeah. There we go. Okay, so this is not deadly range, unfortunately, but it is relatively good, so I'm going to try it. Nice. Decent damage. Now, you've got to also bear in mind that if a ranged unit moves, in their next attack, they're going to be getting less range damage because obviously they're moving, they're not entrenched in that particular position, and they're going to have to get ready to fire. And there's also a reloading mechanic as well. So, for example, these militia right now, they are reloading. Same thing with mine, and so on. So, yeah, that's something to bear in mind. We're just going to kill that guy. And then we are unfortunately not able to do anything here because he's still reloading. So I'm going to, I think, probably just stay here. Actually, I'll just move, and we'll just leave him around there. And we're just going to buff my my footmen over there as well. And these guys are way too far, so I'm going to move them. But I don't think we're still out of range, as you can quite clearly tell. So unfortunately, I won't be able to do anything there. Okay, so this is actually kind of funny because in my previous time fighting these guys, they literally did not do this. They were quite a bit more aggressive, but apparently they are very, very afraid of us right now. Okay, so I'm just going to move, do some damage, just a little bit of damage here and there, and we're going to move over here. That's a bit of high ground, but we're going to lose some damage, but that's okay because the enemy is now going to be doing basically 0 damage. And boom. Yeah, so the more that you can deal damage to the opponent, obviously, because each and every one of these little units that you see on the battlefield itself, they have multiple units inside that sprite. So the more units you can kill before they attack, the less damage they're going to do. So obviously it's a good idea to try and get a little bit of damage out, no matter whether you completely eliminate that target or not. Anyway, we ended up losing 1 footman, which in my opinion is perfectly fine. I really don't have a problem with that. And there you go. We have now cleared the way. And let's loot the gold, and then we'll move on. Bear in mind there is town and kingdom management in this game as well, and hopefully we're going to be able to get to that quite soon. What's that over there? Bannerless Knights. Oh dear. Okay, yeah, that might be a bit problematic, but let's just access this. Okay, the road sign. I don't really want to go into the Bannerless Knights at the moment, because, I think I have to, actually. Do I? Yeah, I think I have to. Ooh, I'm not a big fan of that. Okay, well, seems like we're going to have to. Let's do this. As Cecilia's troops approached Flint Hills, a well-armed force of soldiers wearing no barony's colors came out to meet them. Knights, archers, you're no ordinary bandit force. I've always wanted to kill a wielder. You won't be the first upstart knight I've defeated. Alright, here we go. Okay, so once again, same sort of thing, but of course a bit of a different battlefield to fight on. And of course we are now going to have very different opponents. So let's do this. Let's head in there and see what we can do against them. Alright, so I haven't really fought too many cavalry just yet, but the cavalry I have fought haven't been too difficult, but maybe these guys are going to teach us a thing or two. I'm not entirely sure about that. We have no essence to spend, unfortunately, so I won't be able to do anything with that, but maybe what I can do is I can move around here, get to the high ground, and maybe get a little bit of a, I don't know, a little bit of an advantage against this guy. Unfortunately, my militia is in a position where they are out of range of the cavalry. Not a big fan of that, but I'm going to move forward nevertheless and do a little bit of damage. Oh, this is nice. They're in our deadly range right now. That is really, really good. Actually, should I just kill the archers? It might be better to kill the archers, to be honest. Yeah, I'm going to try killing the archers a little bit. Oh, that was... Wow, that was really, really far. Yeah, cavalry is going to, of course, move very, very quickly. Okay, this guy's reloading, of course, so I can't really do anything about that. Oh, yeah, you also have to bear in mind there is attack of opportunity in this game, so that's also something to bear in mind. Okay, so I'm actually going to use Pacify on this enemy unit right here, and that's going to reduce his damage done by 25%, which is going to be pretty useful for us. I'm going to go to the next turn, and I'm going to take out these archers. Boom. There we go. desperately wanted to murder them. And there we go. Those guys are now done. And now I should theoretically be able to get over there. I'm going to use Quicken on my footmen so that we can get back there. Just a little quicker. And we'll do some damage. Thankfully, we're still on the high ground. So that's pretty good. And there you go. That was actually a lot easier than anticipated. But yeah, we did end up losing, I think, a couple of militia. I'm not sure if we lost any footmen. I don't think we lost any footmen, or at least I hope not. No, we did. Oh, very interesting. Okay, so it seems like the enemy footmen were doing quite a bit more damage than I thought, and we actually lost 22 militia, if you can believe it. That's pretty heavy losses right there. Oh well, never mind. Let's move on, and here we go. A crowd of peasants led by a village elder came out to greet Cecilia as her force entered Flint Hills. I have defeated the rebels and restored Flint Hills to the protection of Stoutheart, as is my duty. Now who among you will tell me what happened? Those knights and their soldiers appeared recently and armed all the local troublemakers. They seized our quarries and mines and started sending the shipments south towards Barkspur, where their patron waits. And none of you stood against them? None of you sent word to the local warden or to Springhold? No, milady, we were feared for our lives. We sent a messenger to Hope's Glade to warn them and ask for help, but the messenger never returned. Remember this moment the next time you are made the offer of independence. I will always protect the barony from threats within and without. Join my forces and together we will restore order to this territory. We'll heed the call to arms of Stoutheart as we did for your father before you. There are able-bodied recruits in the peasant hut. Alright, so there we go. So now what we have to do is we have to investigate Hope's Glade, and we can also go to the peasant hut right now and recruit a bunch of troops. You can also upgrade people, but of course we're not going to be doing that right now. Okay, so I do have the ability to recruit a lot of people. So I'm actually going to get about 34. Let's get 34 of them, and now we have 36 militia available. I am obviously spending gold to do this. I'm actually wondering whether I should just get a huge amount more. I mean, what else do I need gold for at this point? Yeah, why not? Let's just get as many as we can, or at least a little bit. Okay, farmhouse. We're going to be receiving 75 from that. Let's go to the next turn. And the smith generously parts with her latest work, an archer's helmet. Very nice. Okay, that's very good. We've got some stone here as well. Stone deposit. We're going to be receiving 2 stone every round. This is, of course, the resource gathering. And we're going to need as much of it as we can get. So let's continue on to pick up some more stone here. And we'll go to the tavern. That gives me +5 movement. Am I missing anything right here? I don't think I'm missing anything right now. Okay, so that's perfectly fine. Am I missing anything else? I don't think so. We've got a research tree as well, by the way. The research menu provides an overview of all the research available to your kingdom. Research affects all of your troops and resources, and research is connected to specific research buildings with their own focus. Some focus on weapons and armor, while others focus on troop management and economy. You don't only need to build the specific research building of your choice, you also need to defend it in order for your research to endure and be in effect. Research becomes unavailable, or effectively paused, if the research building related to that research is pillaged or razed. The research is available again when the relevant research building is repaired or rebuilt. So you could see here, for example, there is a grand armory, which can research how to craft stronger weapons and armor, and you also have the academy, which you can... apparently that's more to do with economy and things like that, so that's actually super, super nice. Anyway, let's move on, shall we? Let's move on down here and see what else we have available to us. I can't go over there just yet, but that is interactable, so let's go down here instead. A small band of Cecilia's scouts stood waiting along the roadside. Lady Stoutheart, Corporal Greenwood, we've come from your village, Villiers of Thorncliffe, as per your command. Your troops are concealed at the forest's edge. Corporal, this is not the forest's edge. These troops are camped within the Tenderwild. You may have disturbed the Faey.
The Faey, milady? Surely the Faey are only a myth. Superstitions for the country folk.
Did my ancestors sign a covenant with mythological creatures? The laws of the leaves still stands, and we must make sacrifice or break the peace. Consider what we must forfeit to the forest beings to atone for your error.
I await your judgment. My life is yours.
Your death would serve no one. If I remember my history, there is an offering tree southwest of here. Join up, Corporal. I need all of my troops, even the ones who make mistakes.
Your loyal servant, Lady Stoutheart.
Okay, so troops are coming to join, and we've got some more rangers. Very nice. Okay, so we now have the ability to, well, optionally decide whether we want to place an offering at the offering tree. I probably will end up doing that, so let's make our way over there. Oh, okay, so we have the ability to choose between 12 militia or 1,000 gold. I'm going to take the 1,000 gold because I already have almost maxed out militia. We got some more rangers. Unfortunately, I can't take any more of them, so I'll just max out my ranger count. We also have an old camp here, more militia. I'm just going to get gold once again. And I'm actually wondering, how do I get round there? Can I even get round there right now? It's a little bit perplexing. What's this? Giant mushrooms. That's a source of power. We should probably go over here. Ooh, Faey spirits. Okay. I'm actually wondering if I can make the offering before we go further into the forest. I would like to do that if at all possible. Okay, what's this? As Cecilia examined this strange arch, she noticed that it was almost warm to the touch and vibrated slightly. She'd studied many strange ruins from the times of Aurelia, but never one that seemed so alive. Oh, she actually leveled up. We gained some experience from that. Okay, that's actually amazing. Pretty cool. I'm wondering whether I should now start increasing my... Should I... I'm actually not sure. I think maybe it would probably be a good idea for me to get more melee resistance, but I'm also thinking about ranged resistance at this point. I'm going to go for more melee resistance because we took a lot of damage from the footman and the knight in that previous engagement, and I think it could be quite useful for us to try and minimize that, if at all possible. Okay, so... I'm actually thinking right now, there's a fog of war obviously, so it's going to be a bit difficult for me to get through there, but I'm actually thinking maybe we'll go to the offering tree first. Okay, so we've got some more movement here. Let's go along here and interact with this. Okay, yeah, that's, we've already visited that. Okay, that's perfectly fine, and let's go to the next one. Okay, what's this? +3 movement. Okay, can be kind of useful. We're going to go in and attack the Faey by the looks of things. Faey spirits, flying creatures of the tender wild with bat-like wings, long claws and sharp teeth, swooped and buzzed before the offering tree. Oh, there's the offering tree, apparently. Okay. They wore strange masks and screeched at Cecilia and her troops.
Humans be gone.
We wish to leave an offering for our trespass on the forest. As is stated in the ancient covenant between us, stand aside, little spirits. I would do my duty, in fact.
No humans, none ever.
Spirits, do not trifle with me. I am Stoutheart, and by the agreements I seek to make amends. If you continue to impede my passage to the offering tree, I will draw arms and put you out of your misery.
You are misery. Misery.
So be it. Alright, so here we go. We're now fighting the actual spirits. Okay, many Faey spirits, 11 to 25. Okay, this is going to be interesting. I'm actually thinking I'm going to put my militia a little bit ahead here. There is a massive area of high ground in the center, so it would be very advantageous for us to try and get up there, if at all possible, with some of our troops. But obviously that might be... I don't know, it might be ill-advised, because these things are going to move very quickly, as you could see right here. Look at them. They move very, very fast, because they are flying indeed. So... it seems like we're probably just going to have to stay where we are, do some damage, and then get out of there. So let's just move here. Kill these ones, I guess. Kill those. Kill these. It's basically a shooting gallery at this point. Okay, we're losing quite a few, but we are getting retaliation. Yeah, I was actually hoping to get more than that. Oh well, never mind. There we go. Alright, so we ended up losing a lot of rangers right there, which definitely was not good. Okay, yeah. I made a bit of a mistake there. What I should have done was move my footmen down to protect the rangers rather than protecting the militia. That was the main problem there. But maybe we're going to get some more rangers as time goes on. I hope so, at the very least. Okay, so let's just do here, worn boots. Okay, we got some worn boots, that's pretty nice. And there's the offering tree. I actually thought the offering tree was up here, but that actually is just an abandoned tower. So yes, I obviously saw that incorrectly, but there you go. Anyway, the offering tree was the most unusual tree Cecilia had ever seen. Her friend Villiers of Thorncliffe had described them once, but it had not done them justice. The branches were smooth and glossy and seemed to be lit from within. The leaves tinkled like tiny bells in the breeze, and most uncommon, the tree gave off the aroma of warm spiced cider, like her mother would give her when she was small. Faey of the forest, for trespass upon your woods we offer compensation. For these Faey spirits slain I ask forgiveness. They could not be reasoned with. Let our peace be everlasting. As the offerings were presented, the forest around Cecilia grew quiet. Hopefully, it was enough. Only 1,000 gold? Really? Only 1,000? I would be happy to give more, but okay. Yes, that's fine. As the offerings were presented... Okay, yeah, hopefully it was enough. Okay, yeah, so there you go. We've done that, and... I guess that is it. Yeah, I guess that is it. Okay, fantastic. Oh yeah, by the way, I should really mention the aesthetic of the game and the way that everything is presented. I personally feel like the pixel art style is 100% suiting every single thing about this game. I don't know about you, but I think that it is actually very beautiful. And you may think, oh, it's pixel art. How can that be beautiful? I know some people think that, but personally for me, I think this looks really gorgeous. I don't know what it is, but it just has that, I don't know, it's like high quality, you know, it's like sort of like a high quality pixel art. And I mean, you look at it, even if I zoom in here, look at this, you could see the trees and the various little fireflies in the forest, and they're all moving and rustling around and everything. I don't know, it's just really, really cool in my opinion. Anyway, let's go to the next turn and see what we can do about these old bones. What are you going to give me? Nothing? I don't know. Stone altar, give me more offense. Okay, that's perfectly fine. We've got the milestone here as well. There seems to be someone over there. I'm not sure who that is, but hopefully we're going to find out. Seems like these are friendly? Guarding the road was a large force of mercenaries hailing from the merchant states of Baryan. Turn back. The road is open for ore shipments from Flint Hills only. I see. You are strangers to these lands, or you would know me as the lawful Baroness Stoutheart. I do not recall a declaration of war from the Baryan city-states. Therefore, you are thieves and trespassers. What other crimes shall I add to the list? We've committed no crimes. We are honorable mercenaries, here on contract and merely following orders. I spit on your contract. You have my ore, therefore you are thieves. You will return it, tell me who hired you, and maybe I will ransom you back to your employers. We are not afraid to fight you, Stoutheart, but be warned. Our contract states that no one wearing Stoutheart colors are to be spared on the field of battle. Of course, if you turn around now, we can avoid this battle. Never. You shall be treated as thieves and trespassers, and my sword will deliver justice for breaking our laws. Then, unfortunately, we must battle. Alright, let's do this. Okay, so my rangers might need to be a little more careful this time around. I'm actually thinking that maybe I'll move them back, to be honest. So I'm just going to swap them around, because I really do not want to lose more of them. I personally feel like our rangers are really, really strong, so I'd like to try and maintain their population as much as possible. Anyway, I'm just going to move my footmen over here. This is obviously the high ground, so this is going to give me some pretty decent bonuses, hopefully. Oh, they can attack from all the way over there. Of course they can, because they're using spears. I should have thought of that, shouldn't I? Okay, yeah, that's bad. Nice damage. Outside of my range. I guess I'll move here. Let's just eliminate that group. And we're going to have to go down here now, unfortunately. Really did not want to do that, but we're going to give our footmen some protection as well as we do that. Do some nice damage in the meantime. Yeah, we are losing a lot of people right there, but there's not much I can do about it. There really isn't. Okay, let's move a little bit closer. Nice. Okay, so now we are going to move forward. And they are now within my attack of opportunity, so obviously that's going to be really, really good for us. Let's go and pacify them as well. Do a little bit of damage here. Outside of range? Really? Our militia have literally almost... I don't even know what their range is like. Maybe I need to put them on the high ground or something like that for them to really be effective, but... Yeah, we lost a load of footmen that time around. Maybe I should have actually lured the enemy in. That might have been the way to go that time. Oh well, never mind. Cecilia has now gained an additional level. So what can we do? Let's go for some more melee resistance. Why not? Sounds pretty fun. Okay, what do we have here? Oh, seems like this was looted. No survivors remain, but sifting through the ashes, some resources are found. We've got some more movement speed right there as well. And what's this? Cecilia's troops searched the smoking remains of Hope's Glade looking for survivors. The townsfolk had clearly put up a fight, and for that they had suffered. From the rubble they heard a moan, and they uncovered a badly injured militiaman. Lady Stoutheart, we held as long as we could. We had to retreat. They were too strong. Who did this? Baryans? A troop of Baryan mercenaries marched on towards Barkspur, but it were knights that attacked us, men of Arleon, setting fire to our homes, taking no surrender. All we could do was flee to the hills north of here. The wounded man tried to speak, then fell limp. His eyes glazed over as the last sliver of strength left his body. His essence is in the wind, but Stoutheart still stands. Come, there are survivors here yet. Let's search the hills before we journey south to Barkspur. It's time to put an end to this. Okay, so now we have another main task, which is to liberate Barkspur. Okay, let's do that. But we also have, we can also search for survivors. As they reached the top of the hill, they found a sturdy tavern and the soot-covered, injured, and scared survivors of Hope's Glade. From among them, a minstrel stood and greeted Cecilia. Hail, do my eyes deceive? The Baroness of Stoutheart to grant reprieve. If you mean to avenge these foul knights, then we, brave souls, would join your fight. And with your aid, Stoutheart will stand, returning peace and order to the land. She's got her own rhyme to her as well. That's very cool. Okay, and there's also a cozy tavern as well, which increases my movement speed. And there's nothing else to interact with here. Okay, so we're just going to go down this way. Anything else? Another burnt building here. There we go. We're just going to be picking up as much as we can. No survivors remain, but we do get some more resources and everything. Okay. Wait a minute. There's a dead commander there. Almost missed that. Okay, worn gloves. I'm actually not sure if I need that. But I will take it because we have 15,000 gold already, so it kind of makes sense, right? Okay, yeah, we did need the worn gloves. That's actually super nice. Okay, so let's move on. And are there any other places of power that I can visit? No, it doesn't seem like it, so that is fine. Unfortunately, I have very few footmen, so that is going to be a bit problematic. It says look for survivors, so maybe I can find more survivors somewhere else. Maybe there's an optional area that I have missed. Because it says look for survivors north, right? Now I'm thinking, should I go ahead and should I go and do that? I'm wondering whether I should. Let me actually just see. It's, I don't know. Maybe it's worth it, and maybe we could also upgrade some of our troops potentially. I'm actually not entirely sure about that, but let me see here. We can go here, upgrade. No troops available at the moment. Okay, well, I'm just going to be buying as many of these guys as I can so that we have maxed out militia at least. And I don't think there are going to be any other survivors, but they did say in the hills north of this area. I'm a bit skeptical, to be honest. I am a bit skeptical, so I'm thinking it's probably unlikely. Yeah, I think it's probably unlikely because these are the hills they're talking about, I assume, and that's where we're going to be getting to at some point. I don't really know. That's the point. I mean, this map is pretty large, by the way. I don't know whether you've noticed, but it's pretty big, so maybe there's actually somewhere else that I can get to potentially. Maybe there's somewhere else over here as well. I'm kind of wanting to find the survivors. I don't know. I'm just trying to... Oh no, there we go. Okay, we completed the... Okay. I just had to interact with this. Okay, that's actually really funny. Okay, so now what are the musicians like? Because from what I can tell, you can recruit these. Unfortunately, I have no available troop slot. So that's really, really bad. But what are they actually capable of doing? That's the thing. I have no idea. They do 2 to 4 damage. Yeah, they're very, very low in terms of their damage. So, unfortunately, I won't be able to recruit them at all. But it's kind of nice to have the ability to do that if we end up losing more footmen, I suppose. But that actually just tells me, hey, you know what? I should probably make it so that I don't lose too many units in the next fight. Gazing across the lake, Cecilia saw the settlement of Barkspur. It was clearly occupied by another force of Baryan mercenaries, this one led by a wielder. She readied her soldiers for the final battle to retake this region. Okay, so we can now defeat the enemy wielder. So obviously bear in mind, the enemy wielder is going to have spells as well that they can utilize in battle. You have to bear that in mind. Okay, here we go. This is actually going to go very badly for me. Look at this. This guy has threat level medium. Oh no. I'm super worried about this. I'm actually going to be placing my footmen in a completely different position, and I'm going to try and make it so that all of my forces are on the highest possible ground. And oh no, they've got pikemen again. Oh, that is so painful. Okay, let's see what I can do here. I'm going to move my footmen over here. And the jig of jugs. Oh, the jig of jugs. Oh, yeah, that's what you're doing, are you? Oh, yes. Oh, wow, that is some massive range. Okay, that's actually some pretty incredible range. We can kill this guy almost instantly, as well as these. We can kill these really, really fast. I might actually want to do that because I don't think these guys have anything to really fight us with, to be honest. I think the pikemen are the main problem here. I could also eliminate these guys too. I could eliminate these ranged. Now I'm in a spot of bother here because I'm not entirely sure who to kill. Probably this one. And they're in my deadly range right now. Kill the other pikemen, I guess, right? Should I kill the other pikemen? Yeah. Ooh, not enough. Not enough damage. Not enough damage, unfortunately. Okay, so the jig of jugs fellows are doing a little bit of damage to us. Okay, so we're going to buff these guys up, make sure that our archers don't take too much damage. We're going to head over here, try and do some damage with my footmen. Doesn't seem to really be doing that much, unfortunately. And these guys obviously cannot attack because they're reloading at the moment, which is great, isn't it? That's super nice of them. Okay, let's just go to the next turn. This guy's also going to be reloading. You've got to bear in mind that they're also going to reload every single time. And we can now attack these guys. Not going to do too much. Unfortunately, there is an adjacent enemy near me, so of course I will not be able to use my ranged attacks. So we're going to have to continue doing damage to the musicians, unfortunately. Okay, yeah. Now this is fine. This is okay. These musicians are doing so much damage to us right now that it really is making everything very difficult. I'm gonna have to eliminate... I could just kill these guys, or I could basically kill anything right here with my militia right now. I'm thinking we'll kill the other musician, or these, so that my rangers can actually attack with ranged. Yes. That might have been a waste, but I personally feel like it might be kind of useful. Let's kill the... Oh, one enemy remains there. Unfortunate. Okay, my footmen are not doing too badly. We can kill this off at least. There we go. That's dead. Fantastic. Okay, not too bad. These guys are going to be reloading for a little bit of time. I'm going to buff my militia because I actually want to move them away. Attack of opportunity, 4 damage. That really doesn't do anything, thankfully, so I'm pretty happy with that. And I'm not going to cast any other spells. It basically seems kind of pointless to me, so I'm not going to do that. Okay, perfect. Yeah, unfortunately I really don't have much that I can do with my rangers right now, so it seems to me like it's going to be up to my militia, which is really bad. That is really, really bad. Okay, we can kill these, and we can't do anything with that. I'm going to kill the other musketeers. Boom. Ow! Okay, my rangers are completely dead. As you would expect. Yeah. Okay, we've pacified them. Let's start moving over there. I can now fire. Oh, I can't fire just yet. Okay, let's go on the high ground there. Now we can fire, not do too much damage, but thankfully now the musketeers will not be doing anything at all because they literally only have two more members in their party, which is absolutely fine. And now that's a wonderful finish. Whew, okay, we actually achieved victory very very closely, in fact. Very closely indeed. I would not have expected that. But, yeah, because I automatically think I'm always going to lose, you see. I'm always going to lose the first fight against a proper opponent, because the other opponents, I wouldn't say that they weren't proper, but I would definitely say that they were more practice fights more than anything. This was the real deal, and thankfully we were able to achieve victory. Okay, after the battle, a beaten Nimander Breeze is brought before Cecilia. Wielder, we appeal to your honor and beg that we may negotiate a surrender. I am Nimander Breeze of the Courts Battalion and a stranger to these parts. I concede the field and will withdraw my forces. You are indeed a stranger, Baryan, or you would know by my colors that I am Cecilia Stoutheart. Was it your weapons that armed the bandits who caused the uprisings at my mines? There was a misunderstanding, milady. We were led to believe by our employer that they had a lawful claim on these lands. When we realized our betrayal, we had already signed the contract. By the mercenary code, we could not withdraw our services. Reveal to me your employer and their plans. If I am satisfied with your answer, I will spare you. But every Baryan of your company must leave my lands immediately. It was Lady Hammond that hired us. The Topaz Battalion is sent to recover Ashbourne. We are grateful for your mercy, Lady Stoutheart. May this deal bring good fortune to each party. The information is adequate. I will spare your life and instead send you to the prison in Castle Everkeep. There you may contemplate that honor might be worth more than gold. Corporal, this is your chance to redeem yourself for your error in the Tenderwild. Take 2 squads and transport Captain Nimander Breeze to Everkeep until we can arrange for his ransom. You can depend on me, Lady Stoutheart. Okay, can we though? Because I don't think I have any rangers remaining. I think I have one left or something, right? Anyway, with Barkspur restored to Stoutheart rule of law, Cecilia gathered her troops once more and set out to pursue the Topaz Battalion and prevent the occupation of Ashbourne. For this, she would need the aid of Villiers of Thorncliffe, Warden of Stoutheart, and Cecilia's longtime friend.
With grim conviction rose Cecilia of Stoutheart to crush rebellions and push back another upstart. Lady Hammond claimed her settlements, settling, we begin.
Now that was actually very, shall we say, very surprising. I was not expecting anything that cool to happen. Very nice. I like that. Okay, if we get a bard song or a little bit of a verse from a bard song after every single mission, I'll be very pleased with that. I think that's actually really cool. I don't know, maybe it's just me. Anyway, mission 2 is the responsibility of rule. With the tragedy at Hope's Glade fresh in her mind, Cecilia Stoutheart set off in swift pursuit of the Baryan mercenaries hired by Lady Hammond. She must get to Ashbourne and defend her holdings. There were likely many people in the region still loyal to the Hammond family, so she would need more forces before facing the Baryan mercenaries. She would call on her old friend, Villiers of Thorncliffe. Villiers never backed down from a fight. As Cecilia's forces hurried along the road to Thorncliffe, they could hear the sounds of battle in the nearby woods to the south. She urged her troops on. Alright, and that begins mission 2. So what I'm actually going to do right now is I will end this episode off here. If you would like to see more of Songs of Conquest from me, then by all means let me know down in the comments. And if you would like to check out the game for yourself, there is a link in the description. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.